We believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another compelling episode of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show Series, Season 4. My sincere thanks, as always, to Diversey, for our valued partner, for powering these leadership conversations that continue to shape the future of our industry. Season 4 carries a powerful overarching theme: India at the hospitality inflection point, refining excellence across every stage segment. This season marks a shift from city-led conversations to category-driven leadership dialogues, and the response has been phenomenal. We have extremely amazing returns for viewership, and we've also opened Season 4 with our strongest viewership as yet. And thank you all for being part of the journey. This evening's episode explores a fascinating question for the topic: ultra luxury versus accessible luxury. Where is India's sweet spot? As India's hospitality market deepens and diversifies, luxury itself is being redefined across price points, guest expectations, and operational realities. Joining me today are 5 outstanding general managers representing diverse brands, cities, and luxury philosophies. Together, we'll unpack how India is balancing inspiration and accessibility. Without much ado, let's begin, and let me introduce the general managers one after the other. And there are all of them as professionals whom I look up to. First in is somebody who I really look up to, who's a man of strong substance experience and who's opening one of the finest hotels India will see. Sharad Datta, who's the general manager pre-opening of the Ritz-Carlton in Mumbai. It'll come up in Worli. Welcome to the show, Sharad.
Thank you, Bhuvi. It's wonderful to be back on Season 4 of the GM Show, and it's great to see you.
Such a pleasure having you, and thank you for sparing the time to be here. It's not easy opening a brand new hotel from scratch.
Absolutely right. But it's a journey that's a journey of learning and an absolute amazing journey.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll be there soon to wear the helmet with you and walk through.
I would love to do that.
Super. Next in is Sabrina Day, young, happening, and a fantastic general manager. She heads the ITC Windsor Palace, Bengaluru. Somebody I met for the first time 4 years ago while she was still at the JW Marriott Golfshire in Bengaluru. Welcome to the show, Sabrina.
Thank you so much for having me once again, Mr. Khanna. Absolutely excited to be over here and looking forward to a wonderful interaction today. Thank you.
Such a pleasure having you. And thank you for being here and thank you for your time. Gurgaon's latest export to Ahmedabad, from a wet city to a dry state. Sonale Zagade is the general manager of the Hyatt Regency in Ahmedabad. Welcome to the show, Sonale.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, and good to be here again. The second show last year we did it, and again good to be back. Thank you very much once again.
God bless you. Now the next two are first timers on the GM show. Stephen D'Souza, who's the general manager of the rather well appointed InterContinental Jaipur. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
So good evening, Mr. Khanna, and it's an honor to be present at the show. I was looking at all the other shows, and I think this one is going to be special because it's equally balanced with the woman power that we have in this whole panel. We have the 4 super S's, and we have one G-Force in Gurnoor. So what more to look at?
I couldn't agree with you more. Being the father of a daughter, brother of a sister and married to a wife and born to a mother. Womenkind make it so special. Thank you for being there, ladies. Next in, last but not the least, is Gurnoor Bindra, who's moved in from Goa to Udaipur from the St. Regis. She's today the general manager of the Raffles Udaipur. Welcome to the show, Gurnoor.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Khanna. I'm super excited to be here. First, but not the last. Probably many more interesting conversations.
Many more. This is just the beginning. All right.
Thank you.
Now we'll all keep our cameras on right through the show. And let's get underway with our first, with somebody who can give us so much, Sharad Datta. Sharad, you're opening a brand new Ritz-Carlton in Mumbai, and you're handpicked. You've starred, you've done the West End in Mumbai, you've done the JW Marriott in Delhi. Now you're going to do the Ritz-Carlton. You're somebody who's done it all. They've handpicked you, like I said. To you, what defines ultra luxury from India's next generation guests?
Thank you, Bhuvi, for that wonderful introduction. Most indebted to you for that. I think it's a very interesting time, and I think the topic that we're discussing is so apt because after a long time, we are seeing a surge of luxury and ultra luxury properties that are opening and will open in the next few years in our country, and I think the question really begs to be looked at in terms of the next generation guest and what is it that they're looking for. But I thought I'd take a minute to really kind of dissect the ultra luxury vis-a-vis the accessible luxury piece, and just for for the audience perspective, put my thoughts on what really we mean when we talk of ultra luxury. Right? To me, it really means two words: the highest level of opulence and extravagance, which is really reserved for the most elite individuals. Having said that, it's made up of the finest and exclusive products, great services, and experiences that, in my mind, really surpass traditional notions of luxury. Sometimes we see a lot of usage of the word luxury where it may not necessarily be fitting. And I think that's where hotels like ours need to really deliver experiences which are over and above, which is available en masse, as I just said, even in luxury. And it's really taking elements of localization, customs, maybe historical significance that ultimately then represents the pinnacle of craftsmanship and excellence. I think that kind of sums up, ultra luxury. Now, fact remains: quality of build, design, decor, space in our world, ladies and gentlemen or associates, are the basis of an ultra luxury or a luxury property. Now, in this year of 2026, what is the definition of ultra luxury for our next generation guests? I think we're really referring to the millennials and Gen Z, right? And I think the demand has really shifted from opulence and extravagance that I mentioned before to really emotional and purposeful connections. And I think it's about prioritizing experiences that really reflect the generation's personal identity over the traditional, let's call it, white glove formality that we've been following for such a long time in our over luxury hotels. And while the parents of the new generation might have defined luxury through gold banisters, sparkling marble, heavy logos, I think the new guard really prioritizes other things like meaning, time, and transformation. Now, in our world, in the Indian hospitality landscape, I think how ultra luxury is being redefined, and to the benefit of the generation of guests that is coming in, I think we have to move from opulence to authenticity. That's something that we hear so much from the younger generation, that the experiences that they want have to be authentic. There's a whole seeking of heritage luxury, of hyper local storytelling. I think there is a need to move away from the rigid and perfect environments towards really warm, intuitive spaces that feel like a highly curated home rather than a commercial hotel. In our world, in the Ritz-Carlton world, we have a saying which really encompasses something, saying that what we need to deliver is a warm and relaxed surface in a refined ambience. I think these kind of things are important for the young generation. I spoke about flexibility and time. I think time is the currency for the new gen. A few hotels have started doing 24-hour breakfast, 24-hour check-ins. Maybe not right now for the traditional hotels, but I think these are things that will come in the future. I think one of the things that the generation is really focusing on is wellness. And here we can kind of talk of holistic and regenerative wellness, which has really evolved far ahead of what traditional spa offerings and wellness offerings were there. And in most cases now really being integrated into the rooms system. Also, we're talking about how we control the quality of air within the rooms and how we curate our food and beverage experiences around wellness. And in terms of wellness, relaxation, I think, is no longer about being enough in the spas. You're talking of optimization. Longevity is a new trend that has come in, and I think there's a lot of takers for that. Currently, probably in the older generation, but I think the new gen will lap that up. So it's important for us to kind of bring that into our play from a wellness perspective. I think for many years we've had technology really driving into our hotels, and I think there's a word that I'd use to say that instead of being tech-led or technology-led, I think tech-enabled now is more in the fray. I think with the new generation being so tech-savvy, for them it's a very seamless integration into hotels that adopt tech-enabled ideology to really enhance the guest experience. For me, if I have to move into a hotel that enables tech, I think I would love to have a frictionless stay. And a lot of hotels are doing this: contactless check-ins, IoT-enabled rooms, AI-powered concierges, a lot of stuff that's coming. And I think this is great. But of course, you can't take away the human connection that needs to be there for the new gen. And of course, I think it's moving from what I own in terms of I have X amount of money, I can spend it, I can afford to go to a luxury space, to who I am, right? How does the hotel that I'm going to make me a better version of myself? How do I relate to that? I think that whole shift is happening, and this is what the next gen really will look forward to in when they come and stay in our hotels. I think from a possession piece of being able to go to a hotel to a participation piece, what is the value that I am getting out of it, and what is the value that I am bringing into my stay. So, I want to try and sum it up by saying what is the traditional luxury, what is the new ultra luxury. I think materialism, owning the best car and watch, is old luxury. I think coming and experiencing something rare and transformative is the new luxury. Earlier, exclusivity meant keeping people out. Today, I think it's about exclusive access, and for the young generation, in terms of events, for example, backstage, F1, these are experiences that they don't necessarily get. As I mentioned, opulence, moving away from gold, marble, and velvet and coming into originality, perhaps quiet luxury, bold personality, art. And I think the final one, service, you cannot leave away. From being waited on by staff, which is the traditional way of doing it, from where you go into autonomy, technology, and at your own pace luxury, yet ensuring that the service levels are up there. So I think brands have shifted from showing wealth to curating identity, and this is really perhaps a summation of how the next gen would expect us to change ourselves in the ultra luxury space.
Only you could have done such detailing, and coming from all of us who experienced the Ritz-Carlton in any manner, by being there, by staying there, by eating there, it's next level. And with your access to the international stable of offerings, and your experience. I think this is going to be one landmark that we must all await. And in the second half, when you come in, I want to know some details of the hotel that you're putting together from ground to where it will head. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much. Sabrina, permit me to come to you now. I have experienced ITC Windsor Manor from the early 90s. I've stayed there when I got my posting in Bangalore in 1998. That was the 4th of September. My office was on Cunningham Road, and this was the hotel where I got to stay in. It's as uber luxury as it can be. ITC Windsor Manor is a heritage luxury hotel. How do you keep traditional luxury relevant while appealing to modern travelers, including that bridge which connects you to the other side?
That's right. So thank you so much, Mr. Khanna, for the question. I'm delighted to receive it because I think it's so apt for a property that, like the property I represent. I'm so happy about hearing about your personal connection to the property. You'd be surprised every day when I stand in the lobby and I meet guests. There are so many stories that they share about their own journeys or their parents' journeys and how the hotel played such a key role in certain very special memories that they hold. And I think that's such a privilege, to have. So coming to the question at hand, I feel that heritage properties, have a very special responsibility over and above everything else that we represent in the luxury sphere. And that is that we showcase not just the products and services that are there in this day and age, but we are also custodians of a legacy that has been built over decades, right, with a lot of love and a lot of care. And that's something very special. That stewardship is something that's very special to hotels like mine. uh, in a way, honestly, I feel that the role of legacy hotels are changing. Earlier, I remember there was a time when we looked at hotels like ours, which were full of sparkling marble floors and shining chandeliers and velvet curtains, like Sharad was talking about. They were very intimidating. And, when you thought of going into one, you really actually, kind of thought, okay, am I now worthy? But while being guardians of that legacy, I think today we've become less of guards and more of guides. So, in charge of a property like this, our role has changed to more of a guide role, where we try to use meaningful service and storytelling to form a connection with our guests and become almost like guides who are introducing them to this world that they can't see from the outside, that's hidden behind this facade. And properties like ours have so many hidden corners and stories in every place, and so many connections to history and to the legacy of whichever city they are built in, that it's a wonderful thing to be able to impart to your guests. When it comes to the new age traveler, as my other speakers very rightly said, people these days are traveling not just to stay in large buildings or stay in high rise monuments, but they are traveling to collect experiences, and they look for something that's unique, authentic, and bespoke. And I feel that that's a space that heritage hotels very, very strongly occupy. When it comes to the kind of service that we provide in these hotels, we always tell our team that our services need to be discreet and intuitive. So as think as it were that you're in the home of one of these these lords and ladies or ambassadors, and you're staying in one of these old manors or palaces, and the service is very intuitive. Every guest's needs are looked at individually. A lot of guest data is collected in advance, and then the service is what I like to call quiet luxury. So we talk about quiet luxury in fashion, where the quality and the luxury does not scream, it whispers. And that's what intuitive, discreet luxury in the olden days was. That if you like to have your coffee cup on the left because you are left-handed, then the next time you were coming in, you would find it just so. If you like a particular kind of pillow, or if a housekeeping associate notices that the guest is dragging the chair away from the from the writing table and pulling it close to the window because they like to read over there, in the evening or the next day when they are doing the room, they're not pushing the chair back to the same place. They let it be over there and maybe leave a bookmark in the book. So it recognizes the individual, but it's quiet, and it's almost like putting on an old glove. It's comfortable, it's well worn, but it feels like home. And I feel that's the secret of luxury in older properties. And of course, as you would very rightly know, if you come back today also, you'll probably find a few faces that you would have recognized from your earlier stay, and they literally would welcome you back to the property like a child going back to a favorite aunt or uncle's house. And I think that's where the joy and the wonder of old luxury hotels are.
I did actually. When I entered the gate, I found the gentleman from my days, though quite aged, but yeah, he's there. Yeah, so phenomenal. Thank you so much. Yours is an heritage asset, so the treatment is a lot different than what modern hotels are. The others over here are modern, brand new assets. Thank you so much, Sabrina. That's great detailing. Now, let me move on and come to you, Sonale. You're in Ahmedabad now, and Ahmedabad represents a fast-growing business market. Everybody knows. If somebody's not worked in Gujarat, I must advise them to work there. It's a different culture. It grows on you. How do you deliver accessible luxury without diluting brand promise?
Mr. Khanna, thank you very much for this question. If you see, I'm 3 months old in Ahmedabad, moved from Gurgaon. So coming from Gurgaon to Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad is growing city, rapidly growing. This hub is for corporates as well as for the sports city. If you see, every sport is happening in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is a future for India. The way this market is growing, we underrated this market. So if you talk about the luxury, if you talk about Hyatt Regency Ahmedabad, we are actually delivering the experiences through, if you say it's a modern luxury. Now, when you talk about the clients over here, the customers, what do they expect from the luxury? They are not, rightly Sabrina or Sharad mentioned earlier, that, this is not the legacy luxury. What clients expecting here is that quick service. They want to have a quick service. They want to have the different touch point experiences. We created, if you see about this hotel, Hyatt Regency Ahmedabad is next to the riverfront, right? So we are revolve our experience, through the our location that is next to the Sabarmati Ashram. So we are actually started our heritage walks. We have started our riverfront runs. So these are the experience we have curated for our local customers, and they are ready to actually stay with us. They actually love to stay at the modern luxury. We are not opulent, but what we are not compromising the brand promise, but yet delivering the experiences what we supposed to deliver at Regency. Mr. Khanna.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. So the guest in Ahmedabad, the customer is very demanding, the guest, but they're also indulgent, and they're so well traveled.
True.
They've experienced luxury at a level which you cannot imagine.
They want to have the efficient. They want to have the out of the box. It's not that they are well traveled, global travel. This market was actually underrated. People used to say that, sorry, the travelers are not ready to accept the luxury. But this market, I've been in from last, couple of hotels, and I've seen the way there's expectations from the local customers, as well as the global customers for this market. They want to spend, they want to get these experiences at every touch point, be it from the arrival, when they are dining in the restaurants. They want to have the local cuisine. So we have initiated the local experience starting from the breakfast, and that's well accepted. So it's not question of they don't want to spend money. They want to spend money. They want to get the experiences at every touch point where they've experiencing the hotel.
Thank you so much. From Gujarat to the border state of Rajasthan, I mean, you guys share a border, and equally demanding. So Jaipur, Stephen, that's where you are. and you're also new to the state, new to the city, and new to the hotel. Tell me, Jaipur attracts both leisure seekers and experiential travelers. Where do you see guests learning, leaning today? Aspirational luxury or immersive accessibility? Because, you know, Rajasthani guests, like their Gujarati counterparts, are again extremely well-traveled, fairly opulent, very rich, and they want the very best for the money that they spend.
So I think that's a great question. And having just spent 3 months here at Jaipur, while I visited different hotels, I stood in the lobby looking at really, really big, large weddings that happen at the hotel, including we have the convention center closed, so we have MICE guests as well coming in. So we've got mix of weddings, socials, and while standing in the lobby and while talking to most of the guests, right? Jaipur today is sitting at a crossroads, right, of an aspirational luxury as well as immersive accessibility. The guests, however, are kind of leaning on both directions depending on their travel motivations, because you get guests from all across the world traveling to this city has got a lot to offer. The future of hospitality, definitely what I have looked at, and while I have the chats in the lobby with most of our guests who come in, right, whether the FIT travelers or the MICE travelers or it's the wedding guests who are coming in, they're looking at immersive experiences that connect the guest to place, people, and the purpose. This is where the new generation also kind of moving on. Having said that, InterContinental, again, the guest journey is shaped by intentional flexibility. We recognize that modern luxury lies in choice, in personalization, and the freedom for every guest, right? So we tailor their experiences from pre-arrival to departure. We do not want them to tie them down, like Sharad had kind of mentioned, right? It's not the old world way that you want to have. And I was listening to the other GMs as well in the other talk show where they were talking about tying up to the old ways of working where you had butlers assigned and all of that. Today, the guest doesn't look at all those things. What really works for us differently as an Intercon hotel, right, is the brand differentiators for us, which kind of connects with the today's day and travelers. We've got something which is called as brand differentiators. We've got something which is called as an insider's expertise, where we not only have concierge as being the epicenter, but we have experts in all departments that kind of help our travelers who come to the hotel in kind of curating their experiences. We have something which is called as an intentional flexibility, which we understand our guests, right, creating seamless environment, because we need to understand what is their purpose of visit and how we can kind of make it better for them. We also take pride in creating incredible occasions, right? This is where they all come here to celebrate, whether it's the occasion within the restaurants or banquets or wherever else, and we kind of look at all these things put together and how do we kind of curate it to our guests. So that is where Intercon plays a extremely important role. We are situated at Sitapura, which is again an industrial area away from the city, but still creating a mark. And that mark has been created by our exceptional services, its understanding and curating of experiences for our guests, whether it's social, whether it's MICE, whether they take that 40 minutes drive from the city and they come to our award-winning restaurants, which is House of Han, and we have Sokor, which is our all-day dining. So this kind of helps us kind of fine-tune everything that guests kind of need when it comes to immersive experiences as well. Just summing it up.
Yep. You know, you're actually not far from the action. This is where the business is. So much rather have the guest travel to the heart of town to experience luxury. You've given it to them where they are.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I've seen your hotel. I must congratulate you. It's a very fine property. Let me just walk across to your other city in Rajasthan, Udaipur, Gurnoor. You're new there, but you've done the St. Regis in Goa and now the rather well-appointed Raffles. I'm sure you've got your hands all around this great asset, which has I don't know whether the lake has an exclusive hotel to it or the hotel has an exclusive lake to it. But tell me, Raffles is synonymous with ultra luxury. How do you justify premium positioning in a market that's becoming increasingly value conscious? So you don't have other hotels, but you've got a place which is really, really happening.
So thank you for that question. And I think that's a very good point. Are we part of the lake? Is the lake part of us? But I think one of the things I would say before I answer your question is that it is one of a kind hotel for this country to be on a private island amongst the Aravalli Hills on the Udaipur Lake. And, my office overlooks the lake and the mountains. And every time I sit and I look out, I feel blessed to be part of this hotel, right? It truly defines ultra luxury traveler who's trying to get away from day-to-day life of chaos, traffic, noise, so on and so forth. So, when you talk about Raffles, which is synonymous with ultra luxury, the reputation has been built over 138 years, right? I mean, the first one, of course, was a Raffles in Singapore. And then it's built over storytelling, the rituals, and a very distinct philosophy of hospitality. And I think that becomes even more relevant in a value-conscious market, not less. So let me explain, what I mean about that. So I think, for example, the first thing I would want to talk about with Raffles is creating luxury with storytelling and knowledge. Today, when we want to travel to know the story of the brand, the city, the country, the location, even the neighborhood, and learn something new out of a holiday that we choose to do. And at the Raffles Udaipur, when someone arrives by the boat at our private island, or participates in the evening aarti that we do, or visits our organic farm where we grow our vegetables, fruits, herbs, or bird watching, right? Because there's so many stories around the kind of birds that come to this island. They aren't just checking into a room; they're stepping into a narrative, and that narrative has value because it's unique. And I think no one else can recreate it because it's so unique to the resort in itself. The other thing that stands out for a positioning of an ultra luxury hotel is a very strong word called care. It's all about, do you care enough? Do you care to tailor every detail? We all talk about personalization, anticipation. Of course, these words are used across different brands, but I think every detail and care is heartfelt. And again, whether it's an arrival ritual that different hotels do, and of course we have ours at the Raffles, to culinary curation, or most importantly, to the way our team anticipates guest preferences, is designed to obviously feel bespoke versus standard operating procedure. So I think that word care becomes super important for a value-conscious consumer. So if I'm having breakfast and I have a choice of 12 jams just because I've never tried 12 jams, and you care about my preference and the opulence in my choice, I think that's luxury for me, because personally for me, when somebody cares about me, it's luxury is emotion to me, and a sense of belongingness. And I think the last word I would like to use, and I think again something very close to my heart on luxury, is return on emotions, ROE. Because look, guests are today very smart. They're asking these questions that if I'm spending this much, what am I getting back emotionally, personally, experientially? And it's not just about I want to spend more or less. I want to spend consciously. I want to spend for a transformation. So we obviously want to focus on those moments which stay with you longer than your checkout. So whether it's doing a sunrise yoga here or doing the trek at the Shiv Mandir that we have at the Aravalli top in front of the resort, where our butlers curate a picnic for you after the darshan, or it's a conversation with one of our chefs trying to learn the lal mas or the Rajasthani cuisine, that's your return on investment. I think that those memories that go beyond after you've checked out of the hotel and you talk about them and you refer to them and it becomes part of your journey of this life, I think that's what luxury is. It's not transactional, it's transformational. So I think that's how I would sum up how a value creation perspective for a consumer today who's asking the right questions, who's not looking at should I spend more or less. It's more about what's going to be my return on my emotions.
And also that exclusive temple to the hotel behind your right shoulder.
Absolutely. And I think to me personally, sorry.
What was that temple called? The one in the hotel?
We call it the temple. There's no name we've given. It's just a temple we have. But there's a Shiv Mandir.
That pre-exists the hotel itself. Yeah.
That's true.
Thank you.
Stories like this.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard the stories. Thank you so much. We've come to the half part of the show. So intermission break like they have in a Hindi movie. Ta-da-da-dum. So we'll just come back in 30 seconds.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
All right, I'm back and with my next question for Sharad. So we'll wait for Sharad to come in. I think he should be around.
Right here.
All right, Sharad. Sharad, RevPAR, I've asked every show I speak about RevPAR and all the indices that you measure. What are the metrics that truly matter when operating at the ultra luxury end and more so at the super ultra luxury end?
Okay, great. I think I'll try and answer this question in a slightly different manner. Look, Bhuvi, we are in the business of hospitality, right? So the matrices of RevPAR, market share, index, leading to strong P&L, these will always define the success of our business, right? In our world, in the Marriott world, we have our balanced scorecards. In other worlds, they have KRAs and KPIs, etc. But they all mean the same thing. These are guidelines that are there to help us to reach the objectives that we have. And like any company, we all place very high emphasis on the success of our balanced scorecards and thus our businesses. Now, I think this is consistent whether you talk about premium, luxury, entry level, whatever. But when we arrive into this niche zone of ultra luxury, then I think the business metrics really need the intangibles to truly succeed. I think in this space, we need to create a level of comfort and care that really resonates with the brand. And this would in turn encourage lifelong brand loyalty. I think we move from simply counting, the dollars that go into the bank to looking at something that is more tangible. Brand loyalty is not something, as Gurnoor also mentioned, that is built over a year or two. It takes a long time. And when I look at the Ritz-Carlton is a brand that has been in existence for a very long time. And it's over the years that it's gained the reputation that it has today. And it's responsibility of caretakers such as myself to ensure that we zealously guard and protect the brand reputation, which, like I said, has been nurtured for decades. And the way to do that is obviously to have a very strong eye on the defined matrices that I spoke about. But here, I think we delve into the emotional aspect of our business. And however, again, at a level that surpasses the en masse guest experiences. By that, I mean, it's just, for example, just knowing a guest preference is not good enough. Just following the guest preference is, again, not good enough in the ultra luxury space. Curating an unforgettable experience for each and every guest who comes into your hotel and reaching out and fulfilling their unexpressed wishes and needs. And this is a very, very, I think, crucial part of the journey, the unexpressed wishes and needs of our guests. I think that is a defining metric in a guest's luxury journey. I think if I want to kind of make a graph, I would simply put it, how do we take the experience from a low level of complexity to a high level, once in a lifetime experience? All of us have, we use the term wows, right? Wow the guest, etc. How do you take something which I call an essential wow, which is alluding to, I remember the guest likes peanut butter cookies, so I ensure they're in the room. Those are basics, so right? Essential wows. How do you take them to becoming legendary wows? So that the guest knows that on every stay, I'm going to have such an experience that will remain with me for a lifetime. I think Gurnoor alluded to genuine care and comfort. I think luxury hospitality really revolves around that. And it also revolves around the people that we hire to deliver this luxury service element. Like I said, we'll always have a matrices of guest feedback in whichever way and form that we will. I think these will be driven and continue to be driven by personal connections. I think they'll be continued to be driven by anticipating and delivering needs beyond the expectations of our guests. And I think to sum it all, I have a term that I kind of go with. It's around reputation management. I think reputation drives revenue. So the better reputation that you have, the better P&Ls you will show.
True. So I'll give you 1 minute, just 60 seconds. Why don't you tell us about the Ritz-Carlton? Give it to us in a capsule. What are the critical features, the plate, the levels, the works, and when does it open?
Okay, so I'll give you as much as I'm allowed to give you at this point.
Sure enough. What you
progress.
can't, because it's a story
Yeah.
which you don't want to take away from you.
So it's a high-rise building, okay, about 63 stories, and it's a mixed-use development. So the hotel doesn't stand on its own. The hotel tower, which we'll call Tower A, consists of about 32 stories of the hotel and about 28 individual residences, which are sold residences, but we manage it from the Ritz-Carlton perspective. Also in the complex is something that I launched a few years ago, which is called 360 West, which is the branded residences for which Ritz-Carlton is servicing. These are about 172 apartments, and it's a flourishing ecosystem at this point in time with ultra HNIs living here. So the complex in itself is extremely robust, and there's plenty people who are waiting for the hotel to come up. Now within these 32 stories, it's most ultra luxury hotels, it's a compact hotel in terms of size. It will be sub 200 rooms when it opens. It will have a very unique sky lobby. So the hotel starts with the lobby on the 32nd floor and then flows downwards.
Oh, really?
Yes. Clearly, we'll have some very imaginative food and beverage that we'll bring into to this hotel. That's the thing I can't speak about right now.
Don't say no more. Don't say no more. I shall come and I can come and get the feel of it. Thank you so much, Sharad. See you soon in another 3 or 4 days.
Absolutely.
So I now walk across to you, Sabrina. Sabrina, tell me, how do you train and inspire teams to move beyond mechanical service and create meaningful luxury moments?
Once again, thank you for the question. It's something that I'm very passionate about, I'm sure, as our other general managers on the call. So, at the end of the day, no matter how great you feel your property is or the leadership is, unless the last man standing is translating that into actual moments and experiences, it all comes down to nothing, right? And I feel that it all starts with the way that we, train and instill the culture of the property and the ethos of the company into our associates when they join us. So I'm very proud of the induction program that we have. It is extremely detailed. It not just gives our associates an opportunity to learn about this heritage and this legacy that they carry, but it also instills the sense of pride in them. And through that time, they also get to experience the hospitality, because they're actually made to sit in a room, experience meals over there. And so it kind of lets them experience the hospitality that we hope that they will pay forward to others. So I'm sure in any organization, the day that you get your pride pin is a very powerful one for everybody. And we go through this whole production before we actually hand it over to our team, so that they have this sense of pride in now wearing this pin and understanding what it means. So when we talk about a hotel like mine, for example, 43 years of legacy, many generations of guests and their children now passing through its doors, employees who have spent their entire lives working for us, and that is such a great thing to carry with you. But at the same time, it's also a property that's been retrofitted to become the world's first LEED zero carbon hotel in the world. So, to do this in an old building was something that I feel was very visionary. Sorry, did I interrupt you, Bhuvanesh?
No, not at all.
Yeah, and that is something that we carry with a lot of pride, and we tell all these stories, and we reveal this magic to our team in their first couple of weeks in the hotel, so that then they are able to go out now and talk about this with passion. If they want to take a guest on an art walk around the property and show them all the priceless works of art that we have, they can do that. If they want to take them to a secret garden, they can do that. If they want to give them a meal in one of our restaurants which showcases indigenous cuisine, they're absolutely empowered to do that. So in a very small way, I can say there's a very famous old saying that when you bring up your children, you give them very strong roots so that they are rooted to what and where they come from, and then you give them wings so that they can fly. And I feel the way that we induct them in the culture and the ethics and the ethos are the roots, and then we of course have to trust them and empower them and give them wings and say, listen, now if you have a moment of truth with a guest and you understand that they need something and you want to give it, go ahead and do it. I'm standing behind you. What's the worst that'll happen? We'll say, okay, maybe that was too much, don't do it next time. But trust me, that never really happens, because we all have our little internal thermostats, right? We know how much to which level to go to and where to cut off, and I think our teams understand that beautifully. And a lot of people talk about Gen Z's in the workforce, and how difficult it is to get them to toe the line and do what you want them to do. But I actually feel that there is so much creativity and individuality over there, and if you can inspire them to do things their way and empower them to do it, I think that there's some magic that's waiting to happen. So that's where I feel it comes from the heart. You make it emotional and it works.
No, I completely agree. And your challenge is to keep this old grandparent alive and look like you, young. You can't go out and pick things. Your challenge is to keep restoring it to the original shape.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't come easy. It's a very, very tough task. But thank you so much for your input, Sabrina. Sonale, I have one for you. Let me ask you. All right. So tell me, if you were to reimagine accessible luxury for India over the next 5 years, what key shifts would you introduce? Accessible luxury for the Indian market. Give me your mind. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Sonali, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Khanna. To answer your question, yes, for the next 5 years, if you would like to redesign, I've gone back and gone through the guest feedback and the preferences. And if you'd like to redesign, definitely we will have the different, guest room designs. Your social spaces is also very important, because new generation would like to have the quick service, quick luxury experiences, and the local culture experiences is very important. And after 5 years, if you'd like to redesign, I think I'll touch base on those points where you think that we can curate the experiences for the new generation travelers.
All right. That was quick. All right. Super. Thank you so much. Stephen, if I was to ask you, how would you balance operational discipline with spontaneous guest delight, knowing that the customer keeps coming back, or he's a brand new customer, he's an Indian, or he's a inbound foreigner? Jaipur gets a lot of inbound.
Correct.
Yeah.
So just to answer your question, right? It's a very simple question, but it got many layers. One, right, InterContinental Hotels is part of IIG Group, which again is a people-centric hotel company. That's one. The second one is we are blessed to have owners like DS Group, led by Sri Saurabh, whose vision is about taking care of people, and he values a lot of these people that have been working over the last 10 years since the inception of the hotel, which gives us pride, which gives us a sense of lifting up the whole hotel together from the people who have been working here for the last 8 to 10 years plus. So those are the base that we kind of have. Having said that, at InterContinental Hotel, right, our service philosophy is inspire incredible. So whether it's for the guest, whether it's for our people, this is something that we live by, and it's part of our DNA. Like we say, that people are our greatest strength, right? And we have created a workspace where people work, they grow, they perform at their best, because they have support from the leadership, from the brand and from the owners as well, which is very, very important being a managed company here. The other important part is operational discipline gives us consistency, but the spontaneous delight which comes from the empowered people, that is the fine, or I would say a silver lining that we could kind of deliver. And again, making sure it's humanized, not a robotic kind of SOP services that we deliver. Again, this is driven, like I say, by process and passion. They have to go hand in hand. You have to have a team which is motivated. You have to have a team which is driven by ownership and driven by empowerment. Again, like I say, there are multiple, I think in a day, I might have multiple instances where people just look at small things to wow guests, wow your fellow colleagues. When that happens, you know you're in the right place because smiles are there automatically. When I ask the doorman, what is your job here? He doesn't tell me ki door kholna hai mujhe. He says, here, I'm here to make sure everyone who walks in and comes out with a smile. When you ask a dishwasher, like I had asked in one of my town hall meetings to one of the lady who works in the dishwasher, I said, Madam, aap kya kaam karte ho idhar? So she could have easily said, I'm here to clean the vessels and all that. She said, you know, my job is to bring a smile on the guest face. And that moment, right, everyone in that room, we've got close to 200 employees, had goosebumps because that is what we are here to deliver. When we talk about, yeah, operational discipline is very important, but that spontaneous guest delight, which doesn't only come from front of our house, but it comes from the heart of the house. So that is how I'd like to sum it up.
No, excellent. I mean, I've experienced it. Now let me just walk across to Gurnoor for what will be the last question of the day. Gurnoor, tell me, how should emerging hospitality professionals evaluate the choice between ultra luxury and accessible luxury career paths? What this industry needs is solid professionals. And look, our pipelines are not very strong, right? Freshers are not taking to this industry. We have too many options.
So that's a very interesting question, and a question I'm often asked from young hoteliers. And I am myself an accidental hotelier. I didn't start my career in hospitality. So I have a very different take to this because obviously I accidentally ended up in hotels, did not have that question in my mind when I started hospitality, but I do get asked this question quite a bit. And my honest answer is, well, don't chase the segment, chase the environment that will shape you and you thrive best in. Because both parts teach you something incredibly valuable, but they're very different. So the question remains, which one should you choose? And honestly, I think choose based on the kind of professional you want to become. If you're passionate about storytelling, rituals, which we just spoke about a couple of minutes ago, about Raffles as a brand, for example, emotional luxury, the craftsmanship of service, then ultra luxury will feel like home. If you're excited by scale, energy, high tempo environments, accessible luxury will sharpen you fast. And here's the secret: the best hoteliers eventually blend both. I started with accessible luxury, and of course, today I sit in the ultra luxury space. So, my personal advice would be that don't think of it as choosing a lane in the life. Think of it as choosing what you want to learn first. Because a great general manager, a great leader needs a bit of both, a heart and hustle, finesse and fundamentals. So, whichever path you pick, you must be committed to learn and be curious, because that curiosity is going to continue to evolve you as a person, as a leader, as a mentor. And of course, you will keep changing your paths as you thrive in different environments. And trust me, I'm a classic example. This industry will give you back in ways you never imagined. I actually regret a couple of years I did not work in hotels, and I wish I could have worked longer. But yeah, that's my take on this question.
But your path is always cut out. So what belongs to you comes to you, and where you belong, you go there. All right, look at you now. You're in the skipper's seat at the Raffles. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable input. I shall sum up the show now and then get down to curtains. I've had a wonderful show. Each show is a wonderful opportunity for me to learn, to grab the best that you have to offer. Look at what Sharad is doing. Look at the hotels that you've done. I have seen Sabrina in 2. I've seen Sonale in 2. Stephen, I've just known. It's such a blessing, and your owners are lucky to have you drive their assets. So if I was to sum up the show today, Sharad showed us how ultra luxury is becoming deeply personal. And he also gave us a peep into the new wonderful giant that he's building, the luxury hotel. Sabrina, you've reinforced the relevance of heritage through emotional service. Like I said, I've seen that hotel over a period of time. And it's your second year now?
Yes, it is almost ending 2 years now.
Can you imagine? It was only yesterday. Sonale reminded us of that accessible luxury that thrives on smart design and efficiency. Thank you, Sonale. Stephen, you've spoken about the destination-led experiences and how you're far away from the city center, and yet you're making things happen. Gurnoor, like you said, you're an accidental hotelier. You didn't opt for it. You just got in there, and you've demonstrated how curated exclusivity defines true premium hospitality. Thank you so much. What's clear is this: India doesn't need to choose between ultra luxury and accessible luxury. Our sweet spot lies in delivering meaningful experiences across every segment, driven by people, purpose, and precision. I must tell you, I travel the world, you all travel the world. I get to stay in the best hotels. They will have to strive a lot to be able to give the kind of service and experience that we people give. We're already got our act right up there. Our relationships, our emotions, our sentiments, they're right up there. They're not dry. They're not artificial. So that is why Indian hoteliers are the toast of town wherever they are all over the world, and much in demand, our biggest export. Finally, to conclude, let me thank all 5 of you for being there, for such honest, thoughtful perspectives. And also, I must put my hand on my heart and thank Diversey for investing in us, investing in the show, and helping us to bring 200 general managers each season and carrying their word the farthest. The season 4, like I said, has had a phenomenal opening, and this has yet been another wonderful show. To our audience, thank you for joining us and for staying engaged. We'll see you in the next episode tomorrow, which will be, let me keep counting. It'll be episode 7 and 8. Watch us, encourage us, and be there. And before I sign off, please put your hands together for Team BW and BW Hotelier. They work behind the screens. They churn out schedules which are extremely busy. Getting such busy general managers for a show is not easy. And then beaming the show, curating the content, doing everything. Thank you, team. And thank you all. Before we go away, the Diversey video.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Thank you all for being there. A big thank you to Sharad, and best of luck, Sharad. Sabrina, to you. Keep making the baby look young. Gurnoor, drive Raffles like it never has. Give it more of India. And Stephen, best wishes to you. InterContinental needs to go places.
It will.
And Sonale, Hyatt Regency needs you to drive it hard. Thank you so much. And thank you. See you soon again. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.